Real terrifying. I heard about this a while back. This one really happened. This is a true story. I heard about this.
Is becoming a teenager. That was taken away from me. My whole 8th grade year was taken away from me.
8th grade? Could you imagine? Okay, hold on. So, background story. You know the ride, the Superman? It's just like 3 little towers, and it just shoots you straight up in the air and then straight back down. And this, from what I remember on this ride, a cable broke and like swung out and just cut her feet off clean and at the shins. Below the knee, just no legs. Could you just imagine like the force? Yeah.
Caitlin Lassiter thought it was just another fun day at Six Flags. Laughing
Six Flags, yeah, it was
as their seats
it was at Six
climbed
Flags
into the sky.
There, yeah.
But
okay.
what happened
Theirs
next
has just
didn't
one tower.
change her life forever. It was also completely avoidable.
New fear unlocked.
Was one of the biggest draws at Kentucky Kingdom.
Kentucky
A
Kingdom.
giant drop tower that promised pure adrenaline until the day of its now infamous malfunction. When it
In
opened
the UK? Real? In the UK too?
it was
Same
the
thing?
first attraction of its kind. Riders were strapped in, lifted 100.
Okay, I've ridden this exact ride before. Mine was structured a little bit differently. It had 3 pillars instead of just 1 cylinder in the middle. I didn't know about this happening till after I had rode the ride. So I just heard this story. I don't actually know like exactly what happened. So I'm interested to see exactly how the ride failed.
77 feet into the sky and then dropped into a stomach-turning free
Hey,
fall
short
at
princess,
over
thank you for the
50
rose.
miles per hour. Just before hitting the ground, magnetic brakes would snap the seats to a stop above the pavement. It was intense. It was terrifying. And it was meant to feel just safe.
Theirs
enough.
looks taller than mine. Theirs looks
The
way
set
taller than
was
what I had.
simple. Gondolas.
I like the 3D animations and graphics. We're getting down to the science now. There was another one on the Batman. Some dude lost his hat, went in there to go get it, jumped the fence. Somebody punted his dome straight off his neck, which was insane.
Around the tower, each one holding 4 people, feet dangling in the open air.
Not for long.
What most riders never thought about were the mechanics behind the thrill. Each carriage was locked onto steel rails, clinging to the
Where'd the cable
outside
come
of the tower
from?
like teeth.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a
Above them
cable.
were the catch cars, connected to steel cables that ran all the way to the top.
Maybe this isn't the one I'm thinking
These
of.
were the machines that hauled the riders into the sky. As the ride started, the catch cars slid down into position and latched onto the gondolas below.
Okay, maybe this isn't the same one I'm
Then
thinking
the
of.
lift began. Slowly, steadily, the seats climbed higher. 100 feet, then 150. The noise of the park faded, and then nothing. Just a second of weightless silence.
Yeah.
That's when the latch released and the drop
I
began.
don't see cables on theirs. Mine had cables on
In
it.
2007, the ride got a makeover.
Oh,
New
okay.
paint and its superhero theme. But just months later, the Superman Tower of Power would be shut down for good.
Ooh.
That's because of what happened on Thursday, June 21st.
Can I get a year?
Like most teenagers,
2007?
Caitlin was carefree and excited.
Okay.
Her biggest worry that
It-
day
timeline
had been
runs-
choosing which ride to go on first. The teenager and her friends made a beeline for the drop tower. It was right near the entrance. Hard to miss. After the thrill of their first ride, they jumped back in line for a second round. That's when Caitlin decided to switch seats. On the first ride, she'd been in the middle, but this time, she moved to the far left. A seemingly innocent decision, but for Caitlin, it would change her life.
Hey, thank you,
forever.
short princess.
The ride began its climb into the sky. The girls laughed, joked, nudged each other.
Thank you.
And then they felt a violent jolt, a snap like a whip cracking through the
Okay,
air.
this is what I thought of.
Then the smell of smoke. The
This is what I
laughter
thought it
stopped.
was.
The screaming started. Help! We're going to die! None of the riders could see it clearly, but one of the 3 steel cables on the right side of the tower had just snapped. About 40 feet off the ground, the broken cable fell down and hit the ride car.
Hey, Demon Ducky, thank you for the
striking
follow.
Caitlin across the face, splitting
Oh.
her lip and blooding her nose.
Okay, that's not what I thought it was.
The other passengers yelled for the ride to stop, but instead of hitting the emergency button, the operator picked up the phone and called the park's emergency line.
Why didn't you,
Ride
what?
kept climbing. Below,
Why would you not do what you're supposed to do in an emergency and press the emergency stop button? There's a stop button for emergencies, and an emergency occurred, and you didn't do what you're supposed to do in an emergency, which is stop the ride. Why would you not? Just hit her in the face. That's absolutely terrifying.
a crowd started gathering, watching in confusion.
Maybe it's not
Up
over.
in the air, the severed cable began to wrap itself around Caitlin's feet as they ascended higher and higher. As they neared the top, she turned to the friend beside her, the same one she'd switched seats with just minutes earlier, and whispered, "I love you."
Oh,
She thought it was the end. And then
damn. Her mindset was like, it's over.
the latch released. The gondola dropped. As they plummeted, the cable tightened like a noose around Caitlin's legs. The force was unimaginable. It cut through her lower legs, severing both feet and shattering her femur. Her friends, while in shock, had minor cuts and bruises, but
Damn.
were otherwise unharmed. Caitlin had taken the full force of the accident. Paramedics rushed.
Okay, yeah, this is the one I thought it was. I didn't know what happened like that though. From what I remember, the story when it was told to me was that like I thought that it like swung out, severed like a samurai sword. That's not what happened. More like microblade your eyebrows, and they just take a string and just.
the teenager to the hospital. Her injuries were catastrophic,
Damn.
but she was still conscious.
Did you get robot feet
She
though?
was then flown to a specialized medical center in Nashville, where a team of surgeons worked through the night to save what they could. Meanwhile, investigators shut down the Superman Tower of Power.
Well, yeah, I would think
and
so.
began asking the one question no one at the park was prepared to answer: what went wrong?
And how?
On
Whose
this
fault
day,
was it? Who
there
can
were
we
two
blame?
ride
Point the finger.
operators, both teenagers. One main operator working the controls and an assistant.
Oh, and I forgot they usually do have like younger people working these rides. I don't think you're like mentally prepared for the fact that you could be responsible for someone's injury or death just by working an amusement park ride. I don't think the full weight of that sets into a younger mind.
To walk around and check the safety restraints. Both had a good view of the section where the girls were seated. Once the assistant pressed the section ready and ride enable buttons, the main operator pressed the dispatch button to start to ascend. When the cable snapped, the assistant screamed out at the operator of the controls to stop the ride.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what should have happened.
Yeah.
If anything sounded off, the ride controller was required to hit the emergency stop immediately.
Why didn't you?
But invaluable time was spent calling the emergency line. The lady on the phone said it was normal for riders to scream. But I said the screaming was totally different this time because all the riders were screaming. Finally, the main operator did in fact activate the e-stop button,
But not
cutting
fast
all
enough.
power to the ride. But this happened exactly or near exactly as the gondola was released. At this point, the ride began to drop, and stopping it was impossible.
Damn.
Investigators reconstructed the
Damn.
timeline and found something chilling. 10 seconds passed between the cable snapping and the freefall. If the emergency stop had been hit on time, the teenage
It's completely the adult's fault. It was not people working the ride. It was the person who was in charge of emergencies, which was an adult who made a very dumb decision of, oh, you know what? I'm going to call before I press the emergency stop button, which cost this girl her feet.
teenager's injuries might have been minor. Some cuts, maybe bruises. That moment passed, and it didn't come back.
Damn.
And from here on, it only got worse when inspectors started digging into why the cable snapped. According to the maintenance manager, cables were meant to be replaced every 3 to 4 years. This one had last been changed 4 years ago, right on schedule. Technicians were also expected to visually inspect the cables twice a week and take diameter measurements once a year. On paper, the inspections were happening, but there was a hidden flaw. State inspectors were working from an outdated manual, one issued when the ride was first installed in the 1990s. It
Damn.
did not contain the more advanced cable testing procedures added into the newer manual. And legally,
Man.
the park and the manufacturer weren't required to provide the updates. So the inspections continued following procedures that no longer met the mark. Experts later said that if
Anybody going to like a state fair and rodeo or amusement park today? You want to go ride some rides? That'll increase the thrill factor. You know the lore behind what could happen, right?
those newer tests had been in place, the signs of cable fatigue might have been caught. Further examination uncovered even deeper issues.
So, just full disclosure too, the Six Flags I used to go to, someone did die there. I'll look it up. I know one person for sure died. I was there with maybe within a week or two of it happening. I was on the same ride.
Dangerously concealed early warnings of cable deterioration.
I want to know screw the ride. I want to know what happened to her. They got him put back on. Gotta love medical science. And I hope she got a fat check. Do you imagine, like, I imagine that Six Flags, a multi-million-dollar company that has a large insurance policy that should be able to pay all your medical bills, cut you a fat check, issue you some robot legs.
Banned most high schoolers from operating high-risk amusement rides. But by then, Caitlin had already endured 4 amputation surgeries.
Damn.
The doctors only managed to reattach her right
Hey, I
foot.
appreciate you.
Couldn't be saved. The damage was too severe.
Damn.
The only option was amputation.
One robot
just
leg.
below the knee. Her family had been buried under more than $500,000 in medical bills.
Damn.
The fight wasn't over. More than a year after the accident, they sued the park for negligence.
First of all, if you're Six Flags and this happens, why are you not cutting a check immediately? Why are you waiting till to be sued? Like, you have no chance of winning this. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. American medical bills, you never know. I don't know why Six Flags should have been just cutting them a check before they ever even had to go to the hospital. Would they get their legal team on it or what? It's crazy.
The case was eventually settled out of court.
Or
Details were kept confidential.
American healthcare is
Caitlin,
insane.
still in recovery, was fitted with a prosthetic foot. But the emotional scars ran deeper.
I won't be the person I was before because
You got that gangster walk now. The lean in it.
now I'm scared of stuff. I fear for my life when I get in a car, fear for my life when I get on an elevator.
Yeah.
In the mind, I'm not as carefree as a 14-year-old child should be. And that really sucks.
Yeah.
I got that taken away from me.
Even while she healed, Caitlin and her family began pushing for change. At this time, the federal government only regulated mobile rides, like those seen at...
I know right now, like, you know, those ones that get packed up into a truck and moved to a new city every week. Those failure rate of those is so much higher. That's where my kids are at right now, actually. So hopefully they come back with all their feet.
at fairs and carnivals. Permanent rides, like the one that injured Caitlin, were regulated by individual states. The result? A patchwork of safety laws, no federal oversight, and no nationwide system for tracking ride-related injuries. The Lasseters backed the National Amusement Park Ride Safety Act, a bill that aimed to give the Consumer Product Safety Commission authority over all rides, including those in major theme parks. If passed, it would create consistent standards across the country and ensure serious accidents wouldn't vanish into state-by-state silence. But the industry didn't escape.
That's crazy. I know I've seen pictures of rides that are like broken. There's people are still going on it. Quick, let me just see if there's... This is the one I was talking about. I was there a week before this.
A woman died after she wasn't secured into her seat properly, witnesses said. While most seats were secured with
This is
3 clicks,
great animation and
only
voiceover.
clicked once. An employee told the woman not to worry about
Hey,
it.
short princess. Thank you for the... I know that one. It's
The ride, which is 14 stories
damn
high,
it. Hi, friend.
witnesses said that as the coaster was coming down from a peak, her safety bar released, causing the unidentified woman to tumble out of the coaster.
Yeah, so she did triple click it. She just did like 1 click. And I don't know if she's like trying to leave it loose so she could have a more fun ride. Yeah, she got a much different ride. Everyone else did. Yeah, I was there a week before it happened. I remember I got back and someone was, hey, didn't you just go ride the Texas Giant? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, someone just ate it on that ride. Oh, the Smiler? Okay, hold on. I'm going to do this one first. We're just on the amusement ride. Get it? Like what I did there? We're on the Smiler. Roller coaster crash. I would say that the rides don't scare me. Me knowing what can happen is what scares me, not the actual ride. 2015?
At 1:51 p.m. on the 2nd of June 2015, at the Alton Towers theme park in the UK, a combination of factors led to a fully loaded car on the Smiler roller coaster crashing into an empty...
The Smiler is a terrible name for a roller coaster that somebody died? I don't know. But that's a terrible name. The fact that it's called the Smiler and then like something bad happened on it, that's a horror movie all on its own. Someone needs to make a horror movie short out of this. I'll do any kind of roller coaster there is, but there was one that was Tony Hawk one or something. You were on the roller coaster, but the car spun in circles. Do you want to throw up? Because that's how you get throw up. Like, that's just, who wants to just do this on a roller coaster? It's a terrible design.
Car at speed.
Afraid of heights? We don't talk about that.
Was the worst roller coaster
Let's talk
crash
about it.
in the
Let's talk
history of
about
the
it.
park, and resulted in serious, life-changing injuries for several of the...
It's spooky season, okay? I'm gonna be on this scary shit until December 24th, okay? It is spooky season from the end of summer to December 24th is declared spooky season, which is when Stranger Things will be finaleing. So I'm all about it.
passengers on
Hey,
board.
what's up, Mr. Reverse?
It is down
Back up, Terry.
only to good fortune that nobody was killed. The Smiler is a steel roller coaster manufactured by Gerstlauer, which opened
love
in
it.
the X sector zone of
Yo, is that the actual stuff? Oh, dude. Y'all got some wicked fucking coasters in the UK. This is terrifying. I love this. 2015. This is way before the movie Smile came out. So did they steal it from this roller coaster? Because that is insane. If I was a little kid, that would terrify the shit out of me. Yo, that is creepy. I love
Alton
this.
Towers in May 2013. The track included a world record-beating 14 inversions and was themed
14?
with several special effects.
That made me sick.
These included hypnotic spinning discs,
Nah.
sprays of mist, and flashing video screens.
Hold on. I need to see how the coaster functions. Okay, it doesn't spin. It's just rotating. So 14 upside downs with spinning hypnotic discs squirting water at you. This is insane. I want to ride this. I have to ride this. I want to ride this. Definitely one of your favorite roller coasters you've ever been on. I have to ride. I want to get on this, even knowing what
According
happened.
to the story,
Hopefully
behind
they
the
fixed
ride
it.
Were designed to manipulate guests into smiling.
Oh, gosh.
The ride was initially popular despite a number of setbacks. During a press preview, the ride stalled on a vertical lift hill, requiring celebrities and journalists to be rescued from the train, a process that took several hours. This incident resulted in the opening day of the ride being pushed back twice to the very end of the month, frustrating many guests who had booked hotel stays specifically to ride the new roller coaster.
Damn, they're hardcore coasters. If they're
Once the
booking.
ride had opened, the issues continued.
Oh, shit.
In 2013, along with several incidents
Nah.
of cars stalling on the Batwing element of the track, nearly 50 guests were evacuated from the ride after a bolt fell from one of the joints in the track, causing a gap to appear between two track sections.
This is already like one of the scariest looking rides I've ever seen. And you got bolts falling out of it? Yo. I mean, if I was strapped into a ride and the coaster was taking off and I saw a bolt fall out, there is not a mechanism on that thing that could keep me seated in that seat. I would find a way out before I got going too fast, for sure. I'd be out. So many issues. It's still up. By now, it's gonna be one of the safest coasters in the world. Still operating as of right now. What city is it in? I need to plan my trip to Europe. Where's it at? Hey, welcome back, Horror Podcast, with the same joke. You know, you were just here yesterday. I watched one of your videos and I subscribed, and you're back today with the same exact joke. Is it just a bot you have posting this stuff? I mean, it's the same exact post from yesterday. Is you just have a bot like promoting it? I'm sorry, this one was yesterday at 4 a.m. and this one's today at 10:59. I already went and watched one of your videos and I subscribed. What more do you want from me? I gave you the first one and I went and watched it. Bam, sorry, you're out. Bye. I even subscribed to you, bro. That's messed up. You're gonna come back and bot spam me? It's still up? Okay.
In a separate incident, months later,
Booking my
several
ticket?
plastic guide
Let's go,
wheels
like-
fell from one of them, causing a very small gap to appear between two track sections.
Yeah, it's got to have redundancies built into it, right? One little bolt isn't everything. I mean, just one little bolt. Got to have a redundancy built into it, right? That bolt wasn't, the main everything.
Separate incident, months later, several plastic guide wheels fell from one of the trains, causing minor injuries to 4 riders.
That's not bad.
These were
Some plastic
however,
raining.
minor incidents compared to the one that would take
Smile.
place on a sunny day in June 2015.
Okay.
The roller coaster had been operating normally all morning, despite blustery winds of 46 miles per hour.
That is a wicked track.
Guidelines for the operation of the ride stipulated that it should not be operated in winds of more than 34 miles per hour. Indeed, the high winds had resulted in the closure of at least one other ride in the park.
I wonder, does it make it move faster
Shortly
or
after 1
slower?
PM, a ride operator noticed a warning light indicating a fault with the ride. Riders were removed at the station, the ride was temporarily closed, and engineers were called to the scene.
Just by this, I think all rides should have security cameras throughout the whole thing. I think this is maybe one of the first times I've seen a camera angle of an actual camera faced at the ride. I'm sure they have them, but you don't really see a whole lot of videos like this from the actual ride itself.
There had been 4 cars in operation on the ride. Staff had been just about to add a 5th car to the track to help increase rider throughput, a normal thing to do on such a busy day. While engineers worked to resolve the fault, staff added this extra car. After dealing with the original fault and then another that cropped up right after, engineers were ready to restart the ride. They sent around an empty test car, which failed to complete a loop and stalled on the Cobra Roll section of the ride.
If you're in line seeing this,
was
do you
not
still get on or
known to
no?
Staff, and due to some confusion about how many cars were on the track, engineers believed that the test car had completed its circuit and the track was clear. The ride was
No.
reopened and a car fully loaded with passengers was dispatched. Automatic safety systems halted this train just before the Cobra Roll section of the ride. The computer system indicated to operators that the track ahead was occupied. One engineer, still under the impression that 4 cars in total were in use, concluded that the stalled car which the ride had detected was down to a glitch.
Dude, there was an empty car sitting on the track and he just sent it. There's nothing you can do if you're the rider. Like, you're screwed. It's on this. Oh, no. Okay.
He and his colleague overrode the safety warning and set the fully loaded car moving again. It plummeted down through the loop above which it was held.
It's
entered
just
the
sitting
Cobra
there.
Roll and smashed at speed into the stalled test car. Passengers on board were left with devastating injuries, the severity of which would be worsened by the length of time it would take to remove them from the ride.
Oh, geez.
It took around 20 minutes for the first call to emergency.
Okay,
service.
hold on. That's the actual front of the car. Where do you... Were your legs under this? There's like a 1-inch gap from the edge of this seat, maybe a 3-inch to 4-inch gap from the edge of this seat to the front of this bar where there were legs. Goodbye, legs. What? Yo. I mean, that just folded on you like a mousetrap. I mean, that's... And look at all the damage to this. This is like probably heavy grade steel, and it's just folded over like a napkin. Damn.
Replaced, and around 4 to 5 hours for rescuers to construct a temporary
still wanna ride
scaffold
it.
tower
I still
beneath the
wanna ride
ride
it.
in order to reach the injured parties. During this time, several of them suffered significant blood loss.
Oh, yeah. I
All
imagine.
16 victims survived the crash and were transported to hospital.
Good.
Two young women were forced to undergo leg amputations due to the injuries sustained. To their credit, Merlin Attractions Operation Limited, who owned
These guys all cheeked up in his harness right here.
Alton Towers, cooperated fully with the investigation that ensued.
Sorry.
From the beginning, they offered their full support to the victims and took responsibility for the accident.
All right, hold up. Let's just point out a real fact here. The first video we watched was the Superman, a 8th grader getting mutilated by a Superman ride, had to go through multiple surgeries and amputations, $500,000 out of pocket, and then had to sue Six Flags. And then they just took full responsibility immediately. That's a W. That's how you're
They
supposed to.
offered their full support to the victims and took responsibility for the accident.
Offered full support to the victims and took responsibility for the accident. Why? I can tell you why. The reason here. I don't know. Maybe it's our lawyers, the legal teams. Do we just train lawyers too good here? Because they just know, oh, no, don't say anything. Don't admit fault. Don't say it was your fault. Let's see what we can get away with instead of just doing the right thing.
A long investigation concluded that it was down primarily to human error,
Yeah.
but that adjustments to the ride system would also have prevented the crash.
It did prevent the
Merlin
crash. The
Attractions
dude
Operation
pushed the
was given a
button.
hefty fine by the health and safety executive.
Yeah.
Multiple adjustments were made to the ride system and staff were fully retrained. With these changes complete, the Smiler roller coaster reopened less than a year after the crash in a move that garnered some severe negative press for the park.
I still want to ride it.
It has, however, gone on to have a clean safety record since and is now a popular ride within Alton Towers. If you visit the park,
Thank you.
you can even ride
Thank
it
you, Roy.
yourself.
Everything I bought secondhand used, so I appreciate that.
The Smiler will run for many more years.
Minus
park
my
itself
rig,
will
of course.
continue to welcome
I built that
guests.
myself.
But for the victims of the Smiler roller coaster accident, life will never again be the same.
Dude, that's insane. Okay, that's like one of the craziest roller coasters I've ever seen in my life, and I want to ride it. The fact that it has like optical illusions, it squirts water at you, like it's just completely made to disorient you, and then it has the most amount of switchbacks and upside. The track right there is crazy. That is a crazy track. I want to ride this, even knowing what happened. That is crazy. Give a like there. Like the videos. If you watch someone's YouTube video and you like it, you like it. Huh? If you want to see more, help them, you subscribe. Fascinating Horror, I'll subscribe. Before I go on to the other one you sent, I want to see if I can find, I know this one happened. Where was this at? I knew about this one too. Oh, it's the same people. No way, it's the same people. That's awesome. I had some of my story wrong about the other girl because I thought the cable swung out. Time I ride the leg off, but it was actually much worse than that. It like wrapped around it and then pulled like a piece of gum off your shoe. This is, if I remember right, a dude rode the ride and was told to take his sunglasses and hat off, and he didn't want to leave them over by the, you know, where you leave shit, because he didn't want to leave it there because he didn't want someone to steal it. He took it anyway. I don't know if he put it back on or was sitting on it. At some point, his favorite hat just flew off and landed somewhere like right there under the track. He jumped the fence to go get his hat. You know the Batman ride, like your legs dangle. He was getting his hat, if I remember right, if I'm correct, and the ride like spun around and somebody's foot just punted. Let's see if I'm right. This is what I remembered. Watching these videos, the 2005 to 2015 was a bad era for roller coasters. This is not a good time period to be riding roller coasters.
2008, a 17-year-old boy on a trip to the Six Flags Over Georgia theme park made
It's always Six Flags around here, bro. It's always Six Flags. Poor man's Disney.
a fatal mistake. For reasons unknown, he scaled 2 fences and entered a restricted ride
It was
area.
for his hat. It was for his
and
hat.
subsequently
What's up,
decapitated
Shelley?
by a passing train. The horrific incident made news nationwide, but it was not the first to occur on the
There's another one, I think it was at Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, like the water park one, where like a younger, very younger kid got decapitated on the ride as well. Six Flags just not having, man, like they don't have a good track record, no pun intended.
that same roller coaster. Batman, the ride,
Oh, the oof.
is a
Oh.
steel inverted
yeah.
coaster replicated at several Six Flags parks across America. Manufactured by Bolliger and Masts of a steel track around 820 meters, 2,700 foot, in length. At the time, it was the world's first inverted roller coaster, a name given because trains dangled from the track rather than running on top.
If this was at the same Six Flags that I went to where the chick died on the Texas Giant, I'm going to flip out because that would mean like 2 people at this one that I went to multiple times perished. What, did I have the Six Flags of Death? Was that my Six
Top
Flags?
of it. Riders were secured with over-the-shoulder harnesses and completed the ride with their legs dangling over the void.
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
Initially, there was just one version of Batman the
Okay,
Ride,
yeah. That's supposed to
operating at
happen.
Six
It's like,
Flags Over
damn, man.
America in Illinois.
Okay.
Once the concept proved to be successful, however, management were quick to approve clones of the ride for 6 other Six Flags parks across the country.
Which
The
one?
clone at Six Flags Over Georgia opened in 1997,
Georgia.
making it just over 10 years old by the summer of 2008.
Damn.
That was the summer that Isaiah LaShawn Ferguson and his parents came to the park. as
Nah,
part of
there's 2 Six Flags in Texas. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but I know there's at least 2 in Texas.
organised by their local church group. At around 2
Hey, what's
p.m.,
up?
Ferguson and
Hi,
another boy
thank you for the likes.
entered the restricted area underneath Batman the Ride. There are conflicting reports about why they did so. Some witnesses claim that Ferguson lost a hat while riding the coaster
That's
and
what I
was
heard.
trying to retrieve it.
That's what I heard.
Others claimed that he wanted to touch the ride or grab the foot of one of the riders as they went by overhead.
That can't be real.
Still others speculated that the pair
Sorry,
were
that's
taking
me.
a shortcut
That's
to the
this is
entrance
terrible.
of
This is
the
actually a
ride
terrible
in
thing to
order to
happen.
beat the queues. While the reason that the 2 boys entered the restricted area is unknown, what they had to do to get there is a matter of widely publicised fact. The dangerous area beneath the roller coaster was protected by 2 6-foot fences, which the boys scaled one after the other, ignoring multiple highly visible warning signs in the process. Once
About
inside
one
the
of them?
ride area, the boys made their way to a spot directly under the ride track at the bottom of a drop. It was here that Ferguson was hit. The train was travelling at its top speed of 80 kilometers per hour, or 50 miles per hour, when the incident occurred.
50 miles
A
per hour.
rider's dangling foot connected with Ferguson's head, and at this speed, the impact was significant enough to completely decapitate him, killing him instantly. The other boy who had accompanied Ferguson into the restricted area was uninjured. Somewhat miraculously, so too was the rider whose leg had been involved in the collision.
What? In my mind, when I heard this story happening, I thought for sure like home dude's leg was shattered. Damn.
In the immediate aftermath of the accident, the ride was closed while an investigation was completed.
All
It was
right, Big
during
Red,
this
hell
time
yeah.
that it emerged that Ferguson
Cheers.
was not the first person to die in this manner. In May 2002, a 58-year-old groundskeeper named Samuel Milton Guyton was killed while in the same restricted area, again by an impact from the dangling leg of one of the ride's passengers. On both occasions, the ride was closed for little longer than a single day, just long enough for the
Yeah, that's the one I heard about. That's crazy.